Welcome to another episode of Another Dime in the Jukebox. Today, my guest is a singer-songwriter, Courtney McKenna. Hi, Courtney. Thank you so much for being on my show.
Thank you for having me. It's good to be here.
No problem. Yeah, it's really good to talk to you. Listen, you and I met through Chris Slava of the Falling Doves.
Yep.
I haven't seen your performances that many times. I think I maybe have only seen you play live once so far. But
Okay.
yeah.
So that was probably the solo show that I was doing with Chris that one night.
Yeah, I think so. It was I believe that it was in like 20 I think it was 2020 already. Probably.
20 was it last year?
Yeah, like 2 years to be more exact. Yeah, it was someplace in downtown LA.
What's that?
It was someplace in downtown LA. I remember that's like when I first met you. And
okay.
Yeah.
That's so funny because I think I blocked out everything like pre-pandemic. But I remember, the show in the motorcycle bar.
Oh yeah. That was the bar. Yeah, I cannot remember the name, but it was in downtown LA.
Yeah, that place. I don't know if they survived the pandemic, but it was super cool. They had a whole back room with a giant stage, and that was like the first full band show that I did after moving to Los Angeles from New York. So,
oh wow, nice.
That was a special one. Yeah.
Okay. Well, without further ado, let's go ahead and start with the questions.
Cool.
Okay. So, I read on your website that you started singing when you were in the church choir. And how old were you?
I was about 3.
Oh, wow. You started early.
Yeah.
And what age did you stop singing in the church choir?
I sang all throughout high school. And then when I started going to college, I didn't really go to church. I didn't do too much music in college. I was kind of just really focused on getting out, getting a degree. I did a lot of partying, which, for better or worse, was part of that experience. So.
Yeah, I sang a little bit in the church choir my junior and senior years of high school. I did not start taking voice lessons until I was in the 10th grade. And college also kind of had to put a stop to that just because the workload was like way too overwhelming. I did not have time for anything else.
No, I sang in school choir and church choir throughout high school. And I really wanted private lessons, but they were really expensive. So my mom was like, well, you can sing in church. So I did.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you also taught yourself how to play guitar. And at what age did you start doing that?
And what?
At what age did you start?
I think I was like 12, about maybe 13, somewhere around there. 12 to 14. I had like a few lessons that my stepmom got me in the summertime when we were with her. And then that kind of fell off because I didn't have a teacher after that. So I didn't really start playing again until after college when I moved to New York.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you played a little bit when you were like around 12 years old, and then you didn't start up again until after graduating college.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because I played clarinet and I was doing like a lot of sports and, like I said, choir in college high school and church too. So I did a lot of musical things, but I didn't really start learning guitar really until like 2011 probably.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to teach myself how to play guitar when I was 16, but it never really panned out. I think that I probably quit after like a couple of tries because like with singing, it was always just a lot more enjoyable for me.
Yeah. It's hard when you first start playing guitar because your fingers, aren't used to it and your hands need to get strength. And I think I did want to learn how to accompany myself, but just because I didn't have enough time to really like sit with it. And I didn't, the first lesson I had was like a finger picking thing, which was cool. But, I wanted to like play so that I could sing because I wanted to accompany myself. So, after a few lessons, I didn't really think at the time to go online. Now there's like apps for everything. And that's how I started teaching myself, was just learning basic chords to songs that I knew, and then going from there. So,
And at what age did you start writing your own songs?
I was also a teenager. I think that's one of the reasons why I wanted to learn guitar. I've like, since I can remember, been journaling. Even like when I was in elementary school, I would like, pretend like I was, oh my gosh, was it like Harriet the Spy, or like someone who like kept a notebook? I forget, Matilda or some of those movies back when I was younger. But yeah, I didn't really write them to share them until I was in my 20s, after I had started playing guitar. Yeah. And at that point too, I had like sang with multiple different projects in Brooklyn and in New York. So I was just surrounded by musicians and artists, and it felt a little more comfortable to share because everyone around me was doing it. So
It probably inspired you.
yeah, totally. I mean, I lived with like a house full of musicians in Brooklyn, and it was the best thing. I had access to practice space in our basement, and my boyfriend at the time was a musician, so it's just like really easy. I think I wrote quite a few songs before I started playing out, and then when I really like gave my first performance, I was writing every single day, like in between, even at work, like walking home on the subway, just recording voice memos or like putting things in my phone with notes, little scraps of paper. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I used to write a lot of song lyrics when I was a teenager. Also, I started out when I was about 12, and that was the first time that I ever showed my parents the lyrics that I wrote, and they kept saying like what a talent I had, and they kept like constantly encouraging it and stuff. And
Oh,
so
that's cool.
yeah, I wrote a lot of stuff when I was 16 as well. I started
Nice.
listening to like better music, like I started listening to like more rock and roll, and I guess that also inspired the songwriting part. But
That's huge.
unfortunately, yeah, it is. I mean, honestly, I wish that I could start writing songs again someday, because lately, like especially I guess since I started doing another time in a jukebox with the Instagram posts and the research that I do on like rock star biographies, and now doing interviews as well. I guess that, well, it's like you can't stretch yourself out too thin.
Yeah. Well, music can be that way, even if you're not a musician yourself, it's just like a vast sea of information and sound and resources. And I think I fell in love with lyrics, like analyzing them and writing about them in middle school. I think I remember like finding song lyrics to relate to some of the books that we were reading. And I always loved like finding parallels and that sort of thing. But I don't ever remember showing my lyrics off to my family. And I wonder, I don't know, it was a very personal thing. And I felt like there was a lot of conflict growing up as a young teenager in my world. So, I mean, I never really felt like I had support for my music when I was younger, but I mean, that's amazing to hear that you had that. Cause I think that, it's like, it's such a personal thing, and so I think that's partially why I didn't really start doing music till after college, because I just, I thought that I had to like follow a certain path and like go into business, and I don't regret it. I still learned a lot, but
Yeah. Well, it's always like good to have stuff like that to fall back on, to like have a day job and stuff. I mean, my mother, like at least, well, and my stepfathers as well, like always encouraged my art. Like I was always showing them like my drawings and my lyrics. And I think when I was about 14, my mother saw the notebook that I had where I was like constantly sketching, and she was like, maybe you should take drawing lessons. And
nice.
time I was a sophomore, it kind of became like a career choice for me, because my mother was
Mm,
always like really adamant about like sending me off to college. And when I was in high school, even when I was a sophomore, college felt like light years away from me. Like I had no idea how to like go about um, finding colleges to apply to, how to put together an
mm,
application. I wasn't even like thinking about that stuff. I just wanted to go to school. And my
yeah,
mom was like, she hired a drawing coach to work with me specifically, and then
nice.
she also hired someone else who would like work with me on my portfolio. So it was
Wow.
really really great to have that support from her. But I also kind of sort of felt like it was all handed to me, and I never really like worked in it as much as I should have. And now like I'm doing something else entirely after graduating, but I'm still glad that I had that experience, because they call a college degree, it's
Yeah.
all like it goes a long way, really. It's all
Hmm.
useful for you. So besides, it makes you smarter.
Yeah.
so
Definitely.
um so yeah, speaking of college, what was your major when you were in college?
So I started out as a marketing major, and then there was a new program at the college that I went to that was sort of in the same boat. You had to take like all the same prereq classes and business administration and accounting, and but this was like a little bit more of a focus on statistics and psychology, and it was it's called retailing and consumer science. So then I also got my minor in business admin and marketing.
Oh wow, yeah, a lot of, oh, yep, definitely a lot of business.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I always saw the success of my grandfather and really admired that, um and I thought marketing would be like a fun and creative outlet, which I guess there's creativity in it, but um at the end of the day it's just selling. you know.
My former
So,
manager said that I could definitely use some work in my business skills, because I've been working in customer service since college graduation. And while I
mm,
can honestly say that, like when it comes to selling a certain product, I can learn about it and I'm good at interacting with customers. But
mhm,
I do need to work a little bit, like actually I need to work a lot more on like my marketing skills. And it's
mm.
also gonna like come in handy with with my blog,
Yeah.
because I do want to promote it and stuff. So I guess I'm just gonna have to figure it out along the way. But
Yeah, well, especially for digital marketing, it's like there's so many resources online, just on YouTube and like different profiles and stuff. But I think a lot of it, you still have to have that sort of sense of like what your vision is, because I think it could be easy to get distracted if you're trying to like learn marketing. There's just so much advice out there. So it's kind of like you have to listen with a grain of salt and then ultimately come back to like, okay, well, what are what's your vision and like what are your goals for your business? And that's kind of how I think about my music too. It's like there's all the fundamental things like writing and recording and practicing and playing out and having a band and all that. But then I also am trying to, get my music out there as much as I can. So I've been really working on like a strategy just to grow my online presence so that I can get my music out to more people.
you see. Uh,
Yeah.
well, I will definitely take that advice. And I mean, yeah, right now, whenever I would need like some advice on something, I definitely Google things first
Hmm.
and then see what comes up. But
Yeah.
the thing that you said about how you have to have a really clear vision about what you're doing, I think that my vision of what I want my blog to be is pretty much solidified by now because
Cool.
I know what my Instagram page is. I know what I want to post about and how I want to present the information on there. And with the interviews, I think that so far it has been going really well. I've had a bunch of great conversations so far, and
Nice.
I'm excited to see where it goes from there. But I definitely also
Yeah.
want to on like presenting my videos, and I'm working with some video editors at like as we speak, and
Oh, cool.
it's going to be edited by one of them.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Very helpful.
Who are or were your musical influences?
Influences. I used to have a go-to answer for this, but I feel like, as I've really learned more about my own songwriting process and just, my band and stuff, it does sort of vary. So, um, I had a big phase of loving Janis Joplin, Fleetwood Mac, Jefferson Airplane, all the like classic 60s, 70s rock and roll. Of course, the Beatles. I love the Shadows. They're kind of like a rock band without a singer. It's like very classic, like 50s, 60s music.
I'm gonna have to check them out. I'm afraid that I'm gonna have to check out 60s music because some of the I am definitely more familiar with 80s artists. I know a couple of artists from the 70s, but
Yeah.
60s there are definitely a lot more like bands that were out there that
Yeah. Well, and then like the 90s, I feel like that was kind of the heyday for rock was like the 60s, 70s, and 90s. So I feel like, those three eras really influence a lot of my music. And um I I don't know, I also really love soul, and like growing up I listened to a lot of country music and classical. So, you know, I'm I think there's definitely elements of like the blues and country in my music as well. But um, the new stuff I'm writing is a little bit more influenced by like the post punk garage scene from New York. And that's like, you know, everything from like ESG to, I don't know, like a more modern band right now would be like Wet Leg, has a very stripped down sort of like industrial rock dance vibe to it. So, yeah, it's a band called Wet Leg. They're really good.
I'm definitely gonna have to check them out.
Yeah, I'm sure you've heard one. You might have heard it, at least any one of their songs. Like they've had a few um hits at this point.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's a recent band, right? Like it just came out, like maybe a couple
Mhm,
years. Or
mhm.
Wet
Yeah,
Leg.
Wet Leg.
I made a note of that.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. So how long did you live in New York for?
Almost a decade.
Oh wow, yeah, that's a
Yeah.
long.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm. So and you again, sorry, you moved to New York after college.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, I graduated early because I was feeling really burnt out. And so I figured out that there was a way that I could just take some extra summer classes and then graduate early. And then I moved to Italy. And I wanted to just have a different experience. Like I thought about studying abroad while I was in school, but that also was like really expensive. So I was like, well, if, I have my degree, I might as well just go out there and take a few weeks of language school and work. And I did some nannying. And then um, I stayed with my aunt in DC for a little bit, went back for 3 more months. And then, yeah, eventually landed in New York about 9 months later.
Okay, so yeah, but like about 9 months after you graduated college. Yeah. So you
Hmm.
were in Italy for a while. For how long?
It was on and off. So like, you can only stay 3 months at a time in Europe without a visa, like a work permit visa. So I was there for 3 months and I came back, and then went back there again. And yeah.
Did you speak the language when you went there?
No, I was nearly fluent in Spanish, so that was pretty close, but I took a few weeks of language, like Italian language school while I was there.
Yeah, well,
So
it's really cool how like you live on and off in a foreign country without even knowing the language. So, yeah, I want to travel to Europe someday. I think I might want to go to England. So,
cool.
yeah, because like it's with Chris always like traveling and like to and from Liverpool constantly, like playing at the Cavern Club all the time. I
Yeah.
guess that just kind of like inspired me to check it out. I am like, if I ever go there, I'm mentally preparing myself for hating the weather because having lived in California for the past 12 years, I'm just like, I just want constant sunshine. The cold is
Hmm.
uncomfortable to me, but at this point, it
Yeah.
happened a lot. Actually, I moved to Los Angeles when I was 18. I got
Mm.
used to warm weather really quickly.
Yeah.
So
Where did you move from?
I moved from Pennsylvania, actually technically New Jersey, because
Oh, okay.
last 2 years of high school, my stepdad, my mom and I lived in New Jersey because at the
Okay.
my stepdad got a job in New York, and it was just a better commute from
Hmm.
New Jersey. But before that, we lived in a town called Havertown, Pennsylvania. It's like a suburb that's maybe like 20 minutes away from Philly.
Okay.
Yeah, speaking of, I should
Cool.
check out. I kind of want to check out the Philly music scene as well.
Yeah, I saw a concert there once and it was cool.
Yeah, like God knows I've been like I love LA and it definitely has a lot of like stuff going on, like
Hmm.
wise, and also there's a lot of other entertainment happening, but I should definitely take some time to travel when I have more money and when I have the time.
Yeah, I mean, traveling is the best thing, you know. It really can teach you a lot about yourself and
Mhm.
expand your horizons and give you new experiences.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And next question. If you had to choose between New York and LA, what would you choose?
Definitely LA.
Yeah, I'm guessing weather is probably one of the reasons.
Yeah, that's I just feel like it's I'm a lot healthier here because of that. Like in, the first like the end of the year, winter was always really magical and like the holidays were coming and you
Mhm.
know, winter it was fun. But then like after New Year's it would just start to drag on and uh that kind of like 3 or 4 month gap at the beginning of the year was like always I don't know, just dark, sad hole.
I can imagine that in a way. I mean, like I still remember, like pretty vaguely,
Yeah.
that when I lived on the East Coast, it would be like after like the winter holidays, it wouldn't be nice outside again until about mid-April. I'd say
Hmm.
it's always so annoying because you would have those few like really warm days,
Yeah.
and it would get really cold the next day. It's like totally
Hmm.
mind fuck in a way. It's like one day you can go out in the shorts and t-shirt, and the next day you
Hmm.
have to wear a winter jacket. It was crazy.
Hmm. Totally.
Which music venues did you perform at in New York?
I played the Rockwood Music Hall multiple times. I did a lot of like DIY venues. A lot of them aren't there anymore, like the Glove or Wonders of Nature. Um, I mean, especially in Brooklyn, I think that was like a cool thing for a while, but then like clubs started cracking down because a lot of the DIY ones like had potential like safety hazards and that sort of thing. And um, where else did I play? I had a show lined up at the bitter end right before COVID. I was supposed to go back there, but that didn't happen, obviously. um, I played Bowery Poetry quite a bit and just like a lot of random um, corporate gigs around town. Like I played at Lord and Taylor
Mhm.
was like a famous department store there. I think that it shut down now too, but um, yeah, I was like just getting my band together. I think I had like three different iterations of my band in New York before I moved out here. And then since I've been in California, I've also had like three different iterations of my band. So it's been a journey, but yeah, it's exciting. Like I love the past few years I've just been focused on playing, like learning covers and stuff so I can do more corporate gigs, and that's been exciting too because it's like getting paid to do
Mhm.
what you love.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah, that's the
yeah.
best. That's the best. Yeah. So,
Mhm.
so why is there like a reason like why you have to learn covers to play corporate gigs specifically? Like they wouldn't let you play your own songs, or is it like a
I
request?
mean, I'll usually throw in some of my own stuff. Like I'll try to play as many as I can, but people just they hire you like to play covers. And usually the sets are like 3 hours long. So I think I have about an hour of original music. So it's just a matter of like filling in the rest of the time also.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm learning covers like as we speak during my voice lessons right now. In fact, that's
Nice.
pretty much all I've ever been doing since I started singing 5 years ago. I have never tried to sing anything of my own because, well, I'm still learning like vocal wise, but
Hmm.
hopefully, like one day soon, I will be able to sing and perform my own songs. But right
Cool.
now, I want to stick with the covers.
Mm.
Okay.
What covers have you been learning?
So lately, I have been working on a lot of Hanson covers. You have probably, I mean, I'm sure you've heard of the band. I first got into them like 15 years ago when I was 15, and I just like recently, a couple months ago, checked out the album that I used to listen to back then, and
Yeah.
I just like fell in love with it all over again. I used to be
Nice.
a fan of them like back when I was in high school for a little while, and then as I got a little older, I kind of like switched to some other artists.
Hmm.
But that yeah, so I'm learning Hanson songs from their album This Time Around, which came out like all the way back in 2000. And
Nice.
that I have been doing a whole bunch of stuff. I did a lot of Red Hot Chili Peppers covers because I mean they're my favorite band of all time. I learned how to sing some Rod Stewart songs, Blondie, Elton John. Let's see what else. Tried some Joan Jett for a while.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's been like I said, I've been taking lessons for the past 5 years, and I've done a lot, tried to learn a lot of songs.
Cool.
So, yeah. Okay. Next question: what other major showcases did you perform at in New York?
Um, Sort of similar to the last question, I guess. Like, oh my gosh, there was a songwriting showcase at like Love Love something Lovecraft bar in the Lower East Side. Um, there were like multiple different open mics that I used to go to, and um, yeah, the Bowery Poetry had like a really unique thing. It was mostly poets, but I got to perform music. That was like their special guest, which was cool. Um, and I had my own showcase on Sundays at this cafe in
Mm,
Greenpoint.
nice.
Yeah. So I would invite other artists to come and play some of their songs, and then I would play some, and um, it's very chill.
So you had kind of like a residency there, where you would like perform there on a weekly basis.
Yeah, yeah,
Nice, nice.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I wish I could do something like that. I haven't done an open mic night in forever. Sometimes it's because I'm busy. Mostly it's because I'm just being lazy. But I'll get there.
Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know. I guess like there are probably other things I could have applied to, but I'm always just like, well, if I don't get accepted, I'm just gonna make my own.
Also,
So
Speaking of your own showcases, like on your
Mhm,
website in your bio,
mhm,
I read about the We Are Everyday Sunshine, which is a community music event you organized after COVID hit in 2020, and
mhm.
a lot of your shows weren't you supposed to go on tour in 2020, like right before COVID hit?
Yeah, yeah, I had a bunch of shows lined up in New York. I was
I
gonna head back that week actually, like the Thursday before everything shut down.
Let's hear that. That must have sucked.
Yeah, but, you know what? I think I don't know. It wasn't, like, anything that I had really, like, set up. Like, I know a lot of touring artists had already paid for things, like, in their tour, and, what I had lined up was, like, it would have actually cost me more money to go and play the shows at the time. It's kind of like a press thing, I guess, if you will. And yeah, it was great. I mean, honestly, like I was disappointed, but also like I think everyone was in the same boat. So I wasn't getting too down on myself. I was just like, okay, like what is this? What are we doing now? And then my roommate like encouraged me to play. And so we started inviting the neighbors out and it was really low key, like all of 2020. It wasn't like a monthly thing, but um we in January 2021, I was invited to do we were invited to play at a friend's backyard and we had done like where I'd played some yoga, like live music, outdoor yoga spot sessions and stuff at this place in El Segundo. And so we started just doing like a monthly concert and we made it more official. Like we invited other artists to play and started like selling tickets so we could pay artists. And yeah, it was really fun. Like I think, you know, the community really, really appreciated it because there was no live music happening. And since it was outdoors, it was safe. And, you know, people brought lawn chairs and we would have like small vendors, like food pop ups and stuff. So,
Wow, that sounds awesome. Yeah, sounds
yeah.
a really great thing that you guys did, and especially like right when everything shut down completely. Because I remember, right, like at the beginning, like when COVID first hit, it was like what March, April 2020. I
Yeah.
was like, I like to go out a lot. Like I used to go out to hear live music on a weekly basis, sometimes like more than once a week, even.
Hmm. Hmm.
I haven't been doing much of that lately, even though things are opening up again because I kind of want to save up some money because like going out it costs a lot. But back then, I just really wanted to go out and have fun. And right when COVID hit, it was like, well, we have to stay home. And it was pretty binding for me. I got to do some reading, but it's definitely like a really great thing that you guys did. So yeah,
Yeah.
you could have known about that like back then, so I could have gone.
Yeah. I mean, we had it on like Eventbrite. So people found us through that
Mm.
platform. I mean, we were, you know, we had a whole website at one point and did an Instagram that was like just through that. And we, my roommate and I like organized the whole thing and she's a photographer. So we tried to get the word out the best we could, but I think it's just, you know, it's hard to get out there when you're just starting out, you know? So, I don't
Yeah.
know. We had some really good, well, all of the shows were really special. I'll say that. But like some of them were definitely more attended than others. So,
Sometimes that happens. I mean,
yeah.
even like when I go out to Maui Sugar Mill Saloon, when I go there to like to the open mic nights on Tuesdays or to their country night on Wednesday. I haven't been to. I think I've only been to the country night once.
Mm,
But yeah, basically, like my point is, sometimes like even if you go out to like a bar, sometimes it's packed, sometimes it's not. So I think it just depends on the day.
yeah. Mm.
Okay. So, and do you have any new singles or maybe like a full length album coming out anytime soon?
Yeah. So I just put out my last single November, and that song is called CSR, Corporate Social Responsibility. And that song, we shot a music video for last month, which I'm currently editing. So that will come out February 11th. And then in March, I'm putting out my first single that I recorded with the Sweet Myths, and that song is called Satellite. And then I've got another song called Lonely Rider. Those are two of the songs that we play during our live set. So I'm very excited to have them finished. And currently I'm in a 3-month writing program right now to finish my first full record. So that'll be like anywhere from 11 to 13 songs. But it's quite the process. I just went through like all of these voice memos and notes and Google Docs this past week, because it's the first week of this writing group. And it's a lot. Like, I feel like I'm going to write all new stuff, but I mean, I have like hundreds of songs already written, and it's like, I never finish them. It's like, they're skeletons or like they're stream of consciousness things where I never really went back and workshopped it. So it's like kind of like going into your closet and dusting off like an entire treasure trove of whatever, because it's like, I don't know. I used to, before I got so into getting my band together, it was like, I would try new songs all the time. Like every time I'd play out, I would test out a new song. And the past 3 or 4 years, I've only really incorporated like 1 or 2 new songs into my set. So, it's really exciting. It's just also like a little overwhelming right now, because I'm like, okay, I don't even know where to start. Like there's so much. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, that's how pretty much all the creative processes are. It's like you have a lot of work to do, and you have a lot of material to work with, and there always comes a point when it becomes like really overwhelming. But it's like it's all part of the process.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't wait for the breakthrough to happen.
Well, keep working hard at it. I mean, I'm pretty sure it will. I checked out your music on Spotify, by the way, and um I liked it. I mean,
Thank
I
you.
gotta say the style of it, it's usually like the style of music that I listen to, it's usually like a lot different from what you're doing, but I still enjoyed it nonetheless.
Thank you for checking it out.
I mean, yeah, no problem, no problem. So you have a great voice, and I mean, it's really your lyrics are also awesome. So, but actually, I like you singing most of all. That was definitely like the one thing that like stood out to me when I was listening to your music.
Cool.
Yeah. And one more question before I let you go. So, We Are Everyday Sunshine, is that still going on, or did you guys kind of like put a pause to that on that?
So I basically, any money that we made from the concert series at the end of 2021, we split, which basically meant that I paid my old roommate slash business partner for the speaker that we bought, because we we didn't make very much money off of it. We really tried to pay our artists, after every show. So it was like a couple $100, but I got a speaker, a sound system, and it sort of turned into these car show events that I was doing
Mhm.
in Orange County.
Oh, I see. So
Yeah,
happening in
but
Orange County right now. Not
sorry.
it's happening in Orange County right now. You guys are technically like still doing that, or it's just more evolved.
Well, so it wasn't like I was promoting it as Everyday Sunshine, but essentially like um I sold the idea of like live performances and community to a promotion company that works with car dealerships. So they hired me to bring in music and then also to bring in community. And and host these car shows. So I would have our band play. Sometimes I had friends' bands play, and there's actually one this Saturday, but they really wanted a DJ. So unfortunately, we won't be playing, but I'll be hosting it on Sunday. And then, I think right now, I wanted to get back to more of my community because it was like a cool opportunity to create a community for the dealership, but it was also like we were partnering with car clubs. So, that's not necessarily like music first people. It was just sort of like the music was a nice afterthought almost. And so this year I started my own interview series, and I'm interviewing other indie artists, mostly friends of mine. And we're doing a song at the end of each one. So I have the first 3 episodes, one a month. The first one's coming out Tuesday, January 31st, and it'll be with Sweet Myth. So we sang their song Days Gone, and that'll come out on Spotify and then also as a podcast on YouTube and everywhere streaming. So
nice. Well, and I hope that the ad for that will definitely pop up on your Instagram, because that's how I find out about these things, like through Facebook and Instagram. So
yeah.
And I will definitely check out the podcast.
Cool. Yeah, it's called Indie Artist Survival Showcase. So we talk about everything from community to music, lyric writing, production, and the finances behind it, because, indie artists struggle. I never wanted to believe it, but it is tough. It's definitely, a lifestyle choice on top of an artistic choice. And it's also one of the most rewarding things that you can do if you love it, so.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
That. Even if you don't get paid for it, it's still like super rewarding to not only be working on your craft, but like when you also get recognized for it. Well, hopefully, like my goal is to hopefully be making decent money as a music blogger someday.
I love that. Oh.
Okay, well, Courtney, thank you so much for being on my podcast. It was so much fun to talk to you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
No problem, no problem. Hopefully I'll see you soon at one of Chris's shows. Or who knows, maybe I can even come and check you out sometime.
Yeah. Well, we're definitely going to have some big shows this year, but, probably less than last year, just because I want to make our live show a little more special and, really focus on putting all the energy into that. So I'll let you know for sure.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I'll be happy to go and hear you live sometime. Okay.
Cool.
Well, have a good one. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.